Like and subscribe and click the bell icon to get new video updates.
Villarreal 1-1 Juventus. Vlahovic strikes on Champions League debut, but Bianconeri pegged back. Dusan Vlahovic scored on his Champions League debut as Juventus were held to a 1-1 draw by Villarreal in the first leg of their last 16 tie. The former Fiorentina striker broke the deadlock after just 32 seconds at El Madrigal, netting the fastest goal in the competition by a Bianconeri debutant. But Juve were pegged back when Dani Parejo capitalised on sloppy defending by equalising in the 66th minute. Neither side could then find a winner, leaving the tie finally poised ahead of the return leg in Turin on March 16. Leading the line in the Champions League for the first time since his move from Fiorentina, Vlahovic wasted no time in making his mark. Latching onto Danilo's long ball, he brilliantly slotted into the far corner past Geronimo Rulli, becoming only the second Juventus player to find the net in the opening minute of a match in the competition. Villarreal looked to respond in the 13th minute. Alfonso Pedraza embarked on a driving run into the box before feeding Giovani Lo Celso, who was denied by the post. Wojciech Szczesny was then called into action as he produced smart reflexes to block Arnaut Danjuma's clever flick towards goal. The hosts turned up the pressure after the break and were rewarded with an equaliser midway through the second half. Completely unmarked, Parejo collected Etienne Capoue's lofted ball into the area before neatly sweeping past Szczesny. Adrien Rabiot was fortunate to avoid further punishment when booked for his rash challenge on Samuel Chukwueze, and Juve held on as Villarreal enjoyed a greater share of possession as the clock ticked down. Antonio Conte has no problem with Harry Kane's great ambition, yet hopes he can be the man to convince the striker to stay at Tottenham. Kane pushed for a move away from Spurs ahead of this season, with Manchester City widely considered his most likely destination. But Tottenham stood firm and Kane was forced to stay in London, toiling for much of the season while City have charged to the top of the Premier League table. The England captain is still without a major honour for either club or country, explaining his desire to depart his boyhood club. However, Saturday's match between City and Tottenham provided cause for optimism, as Kane brilliantly led his side to a dramatic 3-2 win at the league leaders. Kane scored two and had a hand in the visitors' other goal in a performance that was widely praised. His future plans have therefore returned to the forefront of discussion ahead of Tottenham's trip to Burnley. Kane's wish to win trophies fits with Conte's own plans, though, having been appointed at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, having lifted 5 league titles across his previous 3 club jobs with Inter, Chelsea and Juventus. Harry is a player with great ambition, and it must be this way because a player like him, I repeat, we are talking about a world-class striker, Conte said. He has to be ambitious. For sure, for a player and for a striker, it is very important to improve, to beat records. Records are important, but, at the same time, it is also important at the end of your career to lift trophies, because only if you win and lift trophies can you go into the story of the club. My task in this moment is to try to improve him. But in the same way, with the other players, to become more complete. For sure, to improve a player to stay in this level is not easy because the space to improve is not so much. But I still think he is improving a lot, and Harry is another player who gives me great availability. Suggesting he could have a hand in any decision Kane makes on his next move, Conte added, there is only one way to convince this sort of player. It is to work, it is to convince of your football knowledge and to improve them. Only in this way you have the respect of your players. I have only this way to show to my players, I am here because we are trying to start to build something important together. It won't be easy, but now I think it will be very good to continue this way, and I think that Harry, like the other players, understood the situation. They also understood that the club wanted to give an input by appointing a coach that in the past won things. We have to train for these 3 or 4 months to try to improve and then continue to build something important. But I understand then that every single player has to make the best decision at the end of the season.